I had a conversation about 2 months ago. It was on another podcast that I host, and it was with a chief customer officer. His ICP is CISOs, so chief information security officers, who you know really well,
Yeah.
right? He said that CISO had just gone through a purchase of in addition to their tech stack, right? So he was the buyer, the same kind of buyer that you're reaching out to. And he said, we looked at 14 different companies. He said every single one answered our RFP. Every single one said they checked every single box that they asked us, that we asked them about. And he said, all I wanted to know, and this is what reminded me of this conversation, you talked about creating the right experience. He said, all I want to know is what's the experience going to be of working with you after I hire you? How important is that experience? And how does that relate? You brought it up a couple of times. It reminded me of that story. How to relate that to the funnel as a fraud, like in doing things differently? Like, how does that play together?
Yeah. So one of the things that I think about when we're talking about AI, and especially AI and security, which is where we play, is the approach that I see in the market right now is vendors saying, buy my thing. AI does everything and it's perfect. And you don't need people anymore. I would say it makes no sense, but instead I want people to keep doing it, because if I'm someone in security and I'm trusting a vendor to do something that is critical to my business, am I going to just say, let something run and let it run in the background? I don't need people looking anymore. And oh, by the way, when something goes wrong at 2 a.m, I'm going to submit a ticket? Or am I going to meet someone in person? Am I going to look them in the eye and I'm going to understand like what they really mean, what they really believe, and do they have my back? And can I trust them? In a world where AI can do a lot of really cool stuff, and it can, the ability to trust the people behind the AI and the people that can actually make the AI do what the vendors say it can do, that is so critical right now. And that's what buyers want. We've had a lot of conversations with CISOs where they're saying, I can't hire enough people in my SOC. And so I want to use something that AI can help me there. But what they're not saying is, I want to throw away my people. I want to get rid of them all. What they're saying is, I've got people that are spending all of their time on things that turn out to be false positive 70% of the time. No one wants to do that. That's why we have churn. That's why we can't hire people. And instead, they're saying, really, what I want to do is, I just want to make these people more effective. I want them to be able to grow in their career. I want them to not just be L1 analysts all their life, but instead get in, start doing their jobs that they wanted to do when they got into cybersecurity in the first place. No one ever got into cybersecurity to say, I want to spend 75% of my time bouncing URLs off VirusTotal. Not a one. I guarantee it. But instead, they want the career growth. They want to hunt. They want to do the things that are really human and creative. They can do that if they're not spending all their time data questing. All of this is human. If you look at it, it's not just because your thing is faster. And it's not because your thing has more features or you've got crazy good stuff in your roadmap. But whenever I talk to a CISO, I ask them exactly two things. The two things are, what is the work in security that you're trying to get done that either isn't good enough or that you're not doing right now? More important than that, what do you want your people to be doing? Those are the two things that I really care about. And if our product and what we offer fits in, amazing. There's a lot of things we can help with. But instead, I'm not saying take our platform, put it in, change the way you work around it. Oh, by the way, that thing you need, give me like 6, 8 months. We'll put it in the roadmap. We've flipped that on its head to instead, it's almost like a service engagement, going in and saying, what are you trying to solve? What are those things that your people are wasting time on? Then can we help with that? And so that model allows us to get someone, like we had one of our biggest customers from first conversation to deployed globally in production with 120,000 employees. It took 8 weeks. It's just different, right? You don't get that through the normal way of doing it, where an SE gets on a call, takes a product request, hands it to someone else, they write it up, they hand it to R&D, and then 8 months later, something else comes out that sort of looks like what they wanted in the first place. Instead, we assign a dedicated AI security engineer to every customer. They actually write the code, they can commit it, and they do it in 3-day sprints. And that has just changed the expectations, but also that's not what you're going to get when you go buy something off the shelf.